Hey, and welcome back to Body Working by Becca. Today is probably the most important lesson you could learn in terms of your upper body. So if you have neck pain, listen up. As athletes, we are constantly putting our neck under strain, whether it be hunching over a tri-bike for hours, the road bike, typing at the desk all day, lifting heavy weights. But the culprit to your neck pain may not be what you think it is: your arms. If you use your arms incorrectly during any of the things I just said, your neck will be under a lot of strain. So the real question becomes, what do we do about it? Everyone's heard the phrase, just keep your shoulders down. Which, yes, that's ideal, right? But we're not statues and we move. So how are you supposed to move and keep your shoulders down? So hopefully that's what I'll answer for you today. And we'll begin with talking about two main muscles here at play. So you have your latissimus dorsi, which is a back muscle, and then you have your trapezius, which is really like your neck muscle. Or I should say that's what most people use it as. So whenever you're using your arms, you should be asking yourself, am I using my traps to support my arms? When I'm hunched over that bike, what's supporting your weight? Your arms or your back and your core? When I'm lifting heavy weights at the gym, do you feel your neck get into it, or do you feel your back support the weight? These are the questions you should be asking yourself, because I promise you, if you use your traps less when you're using your arms, you will not nearly have as much neck pain. So we're here with Roy Foley, expert endurance athlete coach and bike fitter. And since we've already discussed the difference between using your lats and your traps, now we're going to give you a little bit of a demo on what that actually looks like when it comes to being on your bike. So I'm going to have Roy get on the bike for us. So you're going to start out in a neutral position. And the idea with this is, if you can imagine, this is the head of the clock, and this is the arm. So the center of the clock doesn't move, but the arm around it does. So if you can envision this as the setup to being on the bike, then it'll be a great way for you to place your arms. It's easier than thinking shoulders back or shoulders forward. It's easier than doing positional. So just think, this is the center of the clock. This is the hand that's going to move around the clock. So the other piece of this is we're going to hinge at the waist. So Roy, go ahead and hinge. And then center of the clock, arm comes forward, places on the bike. So that's the ideal position. So Roy, as a bike fitter, how do you agree with this fit in terms of power or comfort?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The key to getting to your handlebars is hinging at the hips. All too often people will reach here and they won't hinge at the hips, so they're reaching for it. A lot of times they want a shorter stem or they want the bars up, when all they really need to do is hinge at the hips. So the first thing that we really want to focus on is that hinge or the pivot at the hips, which obviously gets me a lot closer to the bars. Then I just go ahead and rotate my arms up. I don't reach out, I just rotate my arms up, place my hands on the bars.
So we'll show the wrong version one more time. So go ahead and do what most people do, Roy, where you sit up and you just go for the reach. So obviously this is not ideal because it includes traps being the main support for your arms, which is going to aggravate your neck in the end. You want back and core to be the support, not the traps. So go ahead and hop off the bike for me, Roy. Now we're going to demo an example of you being in the gym. So here's another good way for you to practice in your sport using back and core rather than your shoulders to keep your neck out of pain. So for all intents and purposes, let's just pretend this is a weight. It's not, it's a pipe. So go ahead and put it in your hand. So let's pretend he's doing a bicep curl, and I'm going to just put some resistance on the weight. So Roy, I want you to do it the wrong way. So he's crunching up his shoulders. Obviously it's a little bit exaggerated, but you can see how he's mainly using this as the support for the arms. So bring it on down. Now I want you to focus on using lats instead of the traps. So I'm going to put a little resistance.
And you'll notice if you try this at home, you'll have so much more power because arms are really an extension of the back, not the neck. So tired. So great, that ends our demo. So practice this. You know, it may not be something that you pick up right away in everything you do in your life, but try it in your sport. That way your neck gets at least a little bit of rest. So eventually, when you do it enough in your sport, it'll translate over into the rest of your life, and your neck will feel uber better.
All right, so remember, small adjustments can make the biggest difference. So when you're using your arms, think about it, practice, ask yourself, am I putting my neck under strain? And until then, Body Working by Becca. See you next week.